Lesson 3, Edges of the Earth, Investigating Crustal Plate Boundaries. You are going to learn the different ways plates move on the Earth's crust. Before we begin, we are going to use 5 terms that may be new to you. Key terms for Lesson 3. Plate tectonics, a theory developed in the 1960s that states the Earth's outer crust is made up of plates that move. The next 3 terms describe the way plates move. Convergent boundaries, plates that come toward each other. Divergent boundaries, plates that move away from each other. Transform boundaries, plates that slide beside each other. Our last term is subduction zone, the area of a plate that has converged under another plate. The black arrow points to the area that would be the subduction zone. Background information. Do you remember Alfred Wegener's theory about continental drift? Were you completely convinced by fossil evidence that the continents are moving farther apart in some areas and closer together in others? The nature of science is that ideas and theories can change with new evidence. The theory of continental drift is now part of a larger theory called plate tectonics. The theory of plate tectonics suggests that the Earth's surface is covered by large crustal plates that are in constant motion. These large continent-sized plates move slowly about the Earth's surface, driven by the Earth's thermal energy. The nature of science. Scientists are constantly observing and collecting data. Read through the important events that led to the theory of plate tectonics. In 1596, Ortelius observed the Americas, Europe, Asia, and Africa fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. He used this evidence to argue the continents drifted apart. In 1638, Steno discovered the law of superposition. The law states that each layer of rock is older than the layer above. In 1785, Hutton used the law of superposition to demonstrate granite formed from cooling rock, and proved the granite was younger than the rock below it. In 1912, Wegener observed fossils of identical plants and animals found on opposite sides of the Atlantic Ocean. He kept looking and found more examples. The fossils matched the jigsaw puzzle Ortelius observed. In 1912, Holmes discovered the mantle goes through thermal convection. He found as magma is heated, it tends to rise, cool, and sink again. His discovery received little attention. In 1962, Hess believed the seafloor moved and carried the continents with it. He discovered seafloor spreading, which provided the energy to move the continents. Scientists began surveying the ocean floor to find more evidence. In 1968, Dan McKenzie created a mathematical equation by using observations on plate tectonics. The equation provided evidence for the theory of plate tectonics. As you can tell, Abraham Ortelius began collecting evidence in 1596. As we read each event, think about how the prior scientists helped them. Can you think of any reasons why this idea of continental drift is recorded in 1596 and not before? There is other evidence besides fossils that make the theory of plate tectonics believable. Geologists, scientists that study the Earth, have observed areas where the rock is bent up and down as if it were crushed like a crushed empty soda can. These up and down folds in the land, mountains, are a result of 2 land masses crashing into one another. Some of the mountains were formed many millions of years ago, such as the Appalachian Mountains, and some of these mountains are still being formed today. Not only can geologists see where the plates have collided together, they have also observed where plates are spreading apart. With recent observable and measurable evidence that the crust is moving, scientists have the evidence to support plate tectonics. The picture on the left is from the Appalachian Mountains, and the picture on the right is from the Rocky Mountains. What can you observe about each of these mountains? Questions. Number 1. How do the plates that form the Earth's crust move? Number 2. What would the world look like without water? Draw a sketch of what you think we would see from space without water on our planet. Number 3. How can molten rock of the mantle move plates on the crust? Draw a diagram of the layers of the Earth and describe how it could happen. If you need to go back to previous lessons or this lesson to help review to answer these questions, you can do so now. After you've answered these questions, you are now ready for part 2 of this lesson. You will watch videos showing how plates move on the Earth's crust.